My name is David Brown and I work for the Steel Construction Institute in Ascot in the UK. I'm a Deputy Director at the Steel Construction Institute, so I look after our education work and our publications and our work with codes and standards. Some of the surprises were the changes in practice. So I think we were quite surprised that there is so much concrete used. We were very surprised that most of the buildings are supported by a concrete core, and we had expected that there would be steel bracing. We were surprised that composite flooring is not used very often. So in the UK, a composite floor would be the standard solution, but during the workshops we found that people used precast concrete planks much of the time, and there was some suspicion about through-deck welding, where studs are welded through the metal decking to the top of the beam below. In the UK and in other places that's absolutely standard, and it is very, very normal, but not in some of the countries that we visited. So I think those were the major changes. We were surprised that some of the steel solutions seemed to be based on a concrete solution, so the same spans and the same grids, whereas we would have normally expected that a steel solution might be a very long span and might be sold because there are fewer columns, lighter foundations and things like that. So the history of concrete construction we found to be very strong and a very significant influence. Yeah, I think the implementation of the Eurocodes is going to be difficult because there are so many parts to the Eurocode, particularly with steel, and each of the parts has a national annex. So I'm very sympathetic because it will be difficult to become familiar with the Eurocodes, and that I think will be a challenge, because everybody will be used to their normal national standard, and I'm sure that they will know that there will be a clause in the Eurocode somewhere, but it will be very difficult to find it. It's sometimes difficult to see where the national annex is going to make a change, so I think there is the potential to make some mistakes, so that will be a problem as well. There will be, of course, lots of help. There will be lots of guides. There will be lots of electronic tools as well, so design programs. And the project that we're now doing, of course, is going to deliver 21 guides, and hopefully that will help people when they come to use the Eurocodes. I think although the location of clauses within the Eurocodes will be difficult, I think everybody should remember that the physics hasn't changed. So the way that the steel behaves hasn't changed at all. And I think that people who graduate from university will find a very clear link between the things that they learnt at university and the things that they find in the codes. So I think there are some disadvantages, but I think there are some advantages as well. At the moment, all the courses that the SCI in England run would be people standing in front of people, in front of an audience, so a very traditional way of doing things. But we have a couple of projects where we are starting to deliver courses online. We have a project where we have partners in the UK and in the Czech Republic and in Romania called Equesta, and we are delivering a number of online courses, and the ambition is that we will be able to deliver them throughout Europe, and all of them are supporting the Eurocode implementation. We're at the start of the project really. We've had one or two trials, and we're starting to make the best use of the online facilities. And what we have found is there is a difficulty in interacting with the audience, and so we are trying to interact by using online polls and online surveys. We're trying to use the whiteboard facilities that you get with a lot of these systems. We're trying to break up our lectures and have formative exercises during the lectures and then a summative exercise at the end. And we always begin with a questionnaire and we end with a questionnaire. We do think there's a difficulty, because if we have 15 delegates and they all want to ask us a question, it's very difficult to deal with 15 questions at one time. But hopefully we will get used to that, and later in the year, later in 2009, we want to start offering some online courses. But it will be very new for us, and it will be new for the presenters to use the facilities, so they will need some significant training, I think.